start off with with my old Armor 85 HD, and right now it's pretty dirty. It's very muddy, and I have a video about the Armor 85 HD, and this was probably one of the best deals for a Cinewhoop back in 2019. Main problem with the Armor 85 HD is that it has a plastic canopy, and in a crash, this is already my second canopy, and this is the weakest point of the Armor 85 HD. So right now it's cracked. And but the electronics are really good, and flies good, especially on 3S. So we are going to get all of the electronics from our Armor 85 HD, and we are going to put it in this old frame that I have. It's also another 2019 frame. This is the Whoopee HD, and I have the Beta 75X canopy version. You can also get this in with a Raccoon Heli ducts. So those are two different variants of the same Whoopee HD. But thankfully, I already have a spare Beta 75X frame, so we are just going to assemble this frame, put our disassemble our Armor 85 HD, get the electronics, and put it all inside. And along the way, I'm probably going to conformal coat the electronics of this Armor 85 HD as well. So the Whoopee HD consists of just two frames: the main unibody bottom plate and the top plate. And it also comes with this bag of camera mounts, and I'm not sure what this is for at the moment. And it also comes with 3 standoffs and a bag of screws. It's just 3 standoffs because you only have standoffs here, and at the back. So it's actually pretty similar to the way the Armor 85 HD is. It has one standoff here. Actually, it has only one standoff, and the rest is the plastic canopy just mounted directly onto the front of the frame. Okay, so we've got our electronics out of our Armor 85 HD frame, and you can see it's actually quite a nice looking frame. It's cracked because it's plastic, and even broke some of these ducts. Oops, the struts on these ducts have separated, and my workstation, my bench is a bloody mess. I've got soil all around, so we're gonna just clean all of these boards and all of these things with some alcohol and some cotton buds. While we're waiting for the conformal coating to dry on our electronics, we are going to be cutting up this Beta 75X. Basically, what you just need are these ducts, or actually these are propeller guards, not really ducts because of how narrow that is. It's not really a duct technically, but yeah. So we just need these propeller guards, and anything that's not related to the repeller guards you don't really need. So we're going to be cutting up all of these center sections. We probably will leave these two because I think it would contribute to the rigidity of this thing. So let's just go ahead and get our pliers and start cutting. Okay, so we've cut up our Beta 75X frame, and we're just going to quickly weigh that, see how much it contributes to the overall weight. It's around 5.9 grams. Probably could make it a little bit lighter if we cut up some more, but I think we'll just leave it at that for now. So we've transferred all of our electronics from our Armor 85 HD, and the stack it's actually still pretty spacious inside. However, it is a 3-layer stack. It has the CAD external board there, the flight controller, and the ESC. So I was really hoping to change that to something a little more less complicated, a lot simpler. The Whoopee HD also comes with these Tpu antenna mounts, so these are nice. Although I probably would add some heat shrink, so these crossfire antennas aren't just bare wires. So yeah, let's just go ahead and weigh this thing. So it already has the SD card inside, so it is the all-up dry weight. And the original Armor 85 HD weighed around 73.7 grams, almost 74 grams. And this is right around 70.1 grams. And it already has an SD card, or micro SD, in the slot. So yeah, that is the whole dry weight. Alright, so just by transplanting your Armor 85 HD onto this Whoopee HD frame, you're able to save 3 grams, and that 3 grams really helped in the flight characteristics and the flight performance of this thing. So right now I have here with me a Beta FPV HD Nano, which is like less than half of the weight of the Cadex Turtle V2, and it's only 6.8 grams compared to the 14 grams of the Cadex Turtle. And I've just about had it with the Cadex Turtle V2 as well. I've tried, updating the firmware. Still couldn't get the lines out of, out of the video. So hopefully this thing would give us better video and even better flight characteristics, flight performance for this Whoopee HD. So unfortunately, I have the Cadex Turtle board right in the bottom. I've already undone the screws, but yeah, we're just gonna have to work our way again down that stack and take all of this apart and replace it with the Beta FPV HD Nano. So the Cadex Turtle was connected via this this harness, this pin connector, and the video signal wire can be soldered here underneath the flight controller board. However, both the ground and the positive are there are no separate pads. They just solder them directly onto the power leads. Alright, so after a bit of a struggle, I think I was able to manage to solder onto that ADC pin. That's a very, very small pin. You have your 5 volts, or you have your battery in, which can take from 5 volts to 20 volts. Your ground and your camera pad is right over here. And yeah, so we are now going to solder these wires to our flight controller. Okay, so I have a small miscalculation on my part. The original Cadex Turtle V2 had the 16 by 16 bolt pattern, just like the stack. However, this Beta FPV Nano HD has a whoop sized, a mounting pattern. So so it's not going to fit exactly here on the stack. The good thing with the Whoopee HD frame is that it has mounting patterns for different sizes of stacks. So you can put a 16 by 16, a 20 by 20, which this one has, or a whoop, a whoop stack as well. So what I've done is I've used, I've brought the stack down. I've used M3 spacers here. Unfortunately, I don't have any M2 spacers, but that worked fine. I don't have shorter M2 screws, so I'm probably going to cut some of these longer bolts. And then I temporarily, since I don't have any other M2 screws, probably just gonna mount this with mounting tape on top. However, once I get some longer M2 screws, I'm gonna thread these screws up here so that the Beta FPV Nano HD is going to be held up by some long M2 screws over here on the front and 2 on the side. So I think that's going to work out pretty well, but yeah, for the meantime, just need to get this thing strapped in. So yeah, we're just gonna mount this up temporarily and then close this up hopefully, and then we'll figure out how to mount this camera. Alright, so we've finished installing the Beta FPV Nano HD camera onto our Cinewhoop, and so a couple of things. I've had to remove the LED which came with the Armor 85 HD. I've had to remove this because the ADC pin on the board, on the Beta FPV Nano HD board, needs to connect to the LED strip. So I removed the actual LED strip, and soldered that on. I've also had to temporarily mount this on on this mounting tape, because I don't have any long M2 screws to mount it with. And the camera itself, since I can't find any TPU mounts at the moment, I've just minimally hot glued it on. I think it's going to hold up pretty well. I've hot glued it here on top and here on the sides on the original TPU mounts. I don't know if you can see it there, but the USB port is lower because I've lowered that used to be the Cadex board, but now the FC stack is lowered, so the access to the USB port is actually much better. And since the Nano HD board is on top, I have easy access to the button if I want to just stop and start the recording through the button, as well as the micro SD card right here. Alright, so let's just go ahead and see how much this weighs. Alright, So all in, this is 63.4 grams. The original Armor 85 HD was around 74 grams. We were able to shave like 4 grams with this frame to 70 grams, and now we've been able to shave 7 grams more, making this a a lot lighter than the original Armor 85 HD. Now, all up weight, if we use this, if we're gonna fly long, we'll probably use this 3S 450 milliamp hour battery, but that'll put our weight to 105.5 grams. If we want to have more performance, though, we can use this 350 mAh 3S battery, and that's just going to put our all-up weight to 91.4 grams, which is really not bad considering, this for the Cinewhoop. And I'm really hoping that it's going to fly a lot better than the original Armor 85 HD. After shaving around 10 grams off of where we started from, this really flies fantastic. I still need to find a 3D printable mount for this camera, but I haven't had much luck in Thingiverse. So if you know of any, or if you can design one, I would really much appreciate it if you can link to that in the comments below. I do spend a lot of effort and time making these videos, so if you really appreciate these videos, I'd appreciate it if you can send me a coffee. My coffee link will be down in the description as well. So I did title this video the Ultralight Whoopee HD Cinewhoop, and if you've stuck around until now, then I'm going to show you another bonus tip to make this even lighter than it already is. We've already shaved around 10 grams, so we're going to shave a little bit more. However, this might not be considered an Armor 85 HD anymore after this, because we are going to be replacing the stack. The only thing that's going to be remaining from our original Armor HD would be these props and the motors, but everything else would be, custom parts. So here's something from Beta FPV, also from 2019, late 2019. This is the Toothpick F4 version 2 12 amp AIO flight controller. So they do have a newer one, which is still an F4, still an AIO, but it goes to the version 3 goes up to 20 amps and has 3 UARTs. I think this will do the job quite nicely. And since it's also a toothpick board, and it also comes with some M2 screws, then we can just take out that whole stack, mount the Beta FPV Nano HD and this on top of each other, and we are good to go. And we'll see how much our final Cinewhoop, Whoopee HD Cinewhoop will weigh. The Toothpick FC comes either pre-soldered with the connectors or without. So you'd want to get the one without, because I had to remove mine, and it saves around 0.3 grams. That's a 0.3 gram difference. The easiest way to remove these connectors, as far as I know, is to just try to pull this plastic part in the direction of those pins. So in this case, I'm just going to pull. You can use pliers, but I find it easier if I do it by hand. So once it starts sliding, it'll just slide off. And now you just have to desolder these pins one at a time. So our final weigh-in of the Ultralight Whoopee HD is, it comes out around 62 grams, and I find that quite weird because I weighed the Toothpick flight controller. This one that I burned out, but it's exactly the same as the one I put in there. So it's 9.8 grams, and the original stack is 12.8 grams, which should have given us 3 grams weight advantage, but we only got around 1.5 grams, so that 1.5 grams might have been lost to zip ties and this hot glue. So it could probably make it lighter by finding or making a custom TPU mount for this. But yeah, so some trade-offs as well is that the USB plug, the USB connector is right there, and you can't access that USB connector unless you remove this whole duct and the motor. So that is a trade-off. So I think this is as light as I'm willing to go right now. And yeah, I'm going to leave you with some footage of this ultralight Whoopee HD. And I hope you liked this video and found it useful. So if you did, click on that like button, make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell button notification as well. Yeah, so I'm going to leave you with that. Until next time, keep building and keep flying.